All right. Hi, everybody, and happy Sunday. Welcome to another stream and a continuation of what we were looking at yesterday with, some of the stealth mechanics, type of distractions, being able to hide. And since yesterday, it's like it's not that long ago, but I managed to apply a few of the fixes for some of the issues we were running into, and also if anybody's interested, let me share with you a couple of things. So mainly, one of them is when one of the issues that we were running into yesterday was when you entered the um, the locker to hide, you could still see yourself, and it was kind of working in the test level here, but it wasn't working in the main world. So I believe I have a fix for that, and part of it is due to how I was hiding the character. In my case, the character would be able to pick up items, like weapons, will have that 3D device that you can look at to see your missions, and those are separate actors that get attached to the character. So if you just hide the one character, those would still be sitting there. Um, hey, hi, hey, Imran, welcome, welcome. How are you? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so what I did, and let me find that real quick. So for anybody else that might be interested in how I hide the actor, is I've created this little macro here to hide actor. So I'm just providing my base character, and this is how this looks. So I have this set up in a kind of a custom macro library. And so I'm getting it like this. So I could use this macro for like other items that I want to hide or other actors. And sometimes, to other actors, you can have different another set of actors that are attached to it. So this is how I've set it up. I just used the set actor hidden in game, and then getting the attached actors. And for this one, if it's an array, what I've learned, and I haven't actually picked up multiple weapons to see how this looks, but it works with at least one. And you can like drag off of this, and you don't have to run a for loop to set those up. I still need to test this out to make sure that I don't need that. But in case you do, setting up a for loop is pretty straightforward. But yeah, this is a little bit of a macro that I use, and just to hide the actor once you're inside the locker. Uh, the other thing that I was working on, and we were looking at this yesterday in Hitman, and you can see I have Hitman running here, is what happens when you distract the enemy. And and also, let me know if the audio is coming in okay. I think it should be. I haven't had any issues yesterday, so. Um, so what happens is when you distract the actor, in the previous setup that I had, it was, let me just jump into game mode here real quick. Currently, let's take a look at where the enemy is. So the enemy is kind of doing his like patrolling around here. And so yeah, the patrolling is just goes from point to point and then stays in that point for 10 seconds is what I have it set up at the moment. So now, uh, the way it was working up until this morning, the distractor projectile is when you want to throw it. So you get this kind of prediction arc, and it's fine if it was hitting the ground. So what it was doing, it was creating a noise event let me turn this down a little bit. So it was creating a noise event or reporting a noise event so that the AI behavior tree would pick it up at the point where it would hit the ground or where it would hit something. The problem with that is that if you hit it, like if the distractor object, you hit it against the wall, well, it's going to report a noise event at that point. Hopefully you can see it. Let me go see if I go into full screen. So hopefully you can see that point where it hits the wall, like for example, there or here. Um, and that wouldn't make sense. The enemy or like the character would not be able to navigate to that location. So what I did is I've actually I'm actually checking to see when that object has come to what would be a rest position. So basically, this is a kind of a simulated flight, and when it hits something, it's just going to bounce off of that and then roll back. And it has a certain velocity. So once that drops below a certain value, I know, this is probably on the ground. It's not falling, it's not in the air, and the enemy could reach that location. Uh, there might be potential issues when you're hitting it like in a spot where it wouldn't be able to reach it. So that's probably also something that I have to be mindful of with collisions and so on. But let's give this a shot. So for example, when I'm going to throw it against this wall, it should bounce off of that and fall within that vicinity. The other thing that I need to adjust, and we were looking at this in Hitman yesterday. So Hitman has like a coin. So that's a different type of physics. What I currently have is kind of a ball. So it would roll away. So I would need to have something more like a coin or something more like a square-ish type of collision so it doesn't roll away. And so that would definitely also help with where this one the where it's going to fall. So let's see what this happens. And also you'll see the additional behavior that I've added to the enemy. So what it does is it goes up to that point and it just crouches to kind of investigate that noise in that at that point. The way I've previously had it was more difficult on the player. So what it was doing, it was walking up to that point and then starting to like bounce between some random locations around that point. So it was kind of defeating the purpose of a distractor in a way. Like you would get him if it was patrolling, you would probably manage to get him away from where it was patrolling. But if you were trying to take him out, the enemy, it wasn't helping because he would have noticed you easily, like from all this like kind of going around. So let me throw this. So let's see where this guy is gonna go. Hopefully he heard it. There you go. So he's going to that point. He's like crouching, he's investigating. And at this point, I can make my move. So there you go. You're out. Also, the other thing that I've done is in the behavior tree, I've added a way to um, like an audio type of thing, similar to how we were looking at Hitman yesterday. Um, that's one way to like take some mechanics from a different game and try to implement them. And so when it hits something like in this case, it just says, hey, I'm gonna go check this. At the moment, I don't think it's either like the audio or like the audio component on the enemy doesn't seem to be like have either like a big enough radius or so I can't really hear it. So I'm gonna test that out. We'll take a look and see how we can get that to hopefully for us to hopefully hear it. So let me double check for a little bit. Also, just if anybody's interested, this is my investigation blackboard. So what I'm doing is I'm clearing whatever focus that enemy had at the moment. I'm moving to the location which was determined by that thing coming to a rest, the little distractor object. Then I'm playing the message. I'm doing this crouch and then uncrouch. This is just a kind of a flip-flop type of thing, if it's crouching and then it's not crouching. And then, kind of changing the status back to patrolling, and it's going to stay in that crouching position investigating for 10 seconds. But this part here is we're setting the sound and we're playing it. The one thing that I also had my audio turned down, so I wasn't able to hear if it was actually playing the audio properly. So let's look at my enemy real quick because that thing is attached to the enemy, the audio. Let's see, where do I have my thing? One second while I find that. All right, so in my enemy, I have a, what's the name of it? Player audio component. It's right here. And let's see, does this have, it actually doesn't have that big of a radius. So for one, I'm sure I wasn't able to hear it. And so let's make this one, it's going to override attenuation. The only thing with that is that in my investigation, so here I'm playing a Q, and this one, I'm wondering if this one has its own attenuation setup. It doesn't. Okay, so I am relying on what's in the enemy here. So let's try and increase the radius. Um, so this guy, let's set this to 4,000 because that's how big the whenever let's take a look at that distractor item one more time. So whenever I'm reporting an event, I'm setting a max range to 4,000. So if I understand report noise event correctly, this is the range. 4,000 units is how far an enemy will be able to hear this. Also, the other thing would be um, when when this happens, I probably also want to um, only do it for one of the enemies. If there's like multiple in that area, there should be only one of them going to check. I'm I'm still debating on that. At least it seems, at least in Hitman, it seems that's the behavior. So let's test this out and see if I can hear that guy saying. I actually recorded myself saying I'm checking. So let's see if this works. So let me turn on my desktop audio. Hopefully you'll be able to hear it. All right, so let's go to about the same location. We'll just do it in the same spot. Oops. I guess something to be mindful of, and that's why I was saying um, with with the item, that distractor item, it might be best if it's like a kind of a flat surface. It's not like a round type sphere collision because it could result in that thing rolling away. And right now it was rolling towards me and it just, let's see if I do it around here-ish. Not sure if you heard it, but I think, unfortunately, I'm not placing it in the right spot. So it actually should be probably before moving to location, because this one, once it completes, then it plays this. So let's try and replace these like this. So I'm going to play the audio first and start moving. And let's see, because that way, you know, you will know that you got the attention of the enemy, right? When it plays, okay, I'm checking. So let's try that out. I also wanted to bring this up a little bit. All right, so that audio that you hear is just kind of the interaction between like the enemy and the that NPC that you need to rescue. um, which is going to happen in like the main world. So let's try this. Whoops. Oh yeah, there you go. So not sure if you were able to hear it, but he said that right at the beginning of. So let's try throwing one more over there. And where is the guy? I thought he was going to go over here. Shoot, I lost him. Whatever happened to him? Okay, I can hear the I'm checking thing, but I am not entirely sure where he's at. Where'd you go, my guy? I can hear the I'm checking parts, but did he like fall through the map? This is interesting. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. I think Unreal is having like a little bit of a fit right now because I was not able to exit out of the game. Yeah, I think that was Unreal having a fit because like I right now if I hold my right mouse button down, it just like zooms in and out and let me try jumping into game mode. Yeah, so Unreal will freak out every now and again. It's definitely not perfect. Bugs will happen. So let's try this. So there he goes. He checks for something, but I was still I was still in his area of that he could see me, and that's another thing that I'm thinking about adjusting. I'm still trying to figure out. I think it might be my space key that was having issues. So the other thing, like I said, if you throw the distractor thing, what I'm trying to figure out is how you can limit the view range. You know, it's fine if you're like behind the enemy, but if you're like in front of him or like to the side, he would still notice you. Um, so I don't want to make it too complicated that is like to that realism, you know, because like yeah, in real world you'll still if you bend down to pick something, you'll still notice, you know, you don't your like peripheral vision doesn't really come down or like get reduced. But yeah, it's you know it's a game, so there's like the some of the unrealistic parts of it, and the only thing is I can't really figure out from like a blueprint perspective how you can get back in and access the site, the parameters for the site to adjust those at runtime. So it's either that or at the moment when he's in this state where he's like crouching, so right in this area, I could have a task where his perception is basically turned off. Um, so I'm still trying to figure that out. But let's go into the main level and see if this works better now in our real world or like in our game world, right? So let's try that out. Bear with me while everything loads. But yeah, like I said, the main thing would be for, and maybe we'll do this here to find or to adjust the collision for that item that you throw. Like I said, right now it's pretty spherical, and yeah, it's gonna roll away, which I don't really want to. Like I kind of wanted to, if it bounces off a wall, like you throw it out a wall, if it bounces off of that, I don't want it to like keep on rolling away. And I've noticed that in Hitman. I mean, it is physics, and you know, if you look at a coin, it's a cylinder type of collision, a very short cylinder, but it still has the issue that it can roll away. And I've noticed that I've hit it at one point to distract an enemy, and it still rolled away quite a bit. So that one was, you know what? I didn't expect that. All right, so we're almost loaded in here. All right, let's see. What else can I close around here that I don't need? I have a bunch of tabs open, so my apologies. That's definitely going to affect this count and performance. But so I'm starting right in here with the player, and let's see how this works. Also, one thing that I forgot to fix from yesterday, we were looking at this, and I think this item has like a little bit of a. Let's take a look at the collision. Actually, no, it has a. The collision looks good, but I think in the world itself, it's got a couple of things that don't look right. So let me try and look at player collision, because that will definitely impact where the enemy can travel. So you can see it right here. I'm I oh great. Um, maybe don't do this and actually and run a Hitman at the same time on this old timer of a video card. Let me quit out of this. All right, so let's jump back in. Apologies for that little detour. So let's see all about loading in here. I think like the metahumans that I have or like the setup, sometimes like I never really understood why I get this waiting for skin assets to be ready. This is usually like almost half of my load time. Um, at least when I load the project. I was never able to understand why it takes so long for these to prepare these skinned assets. Why do they have to do that every single time? All right, so I'm just gonna open these because it takes a little bit to get them reopened. Hey, Yonuts, welcome, welcome. Nazia, how are you doing? All right, so yeah, let's jump into the main level. Hopefully, no crashes on this round, and we'll see how this goes. All right, there we go. Probably can speed this up quite a bit if I wouldn't wasn't if I was to build all those. If you remember, I used that IA scatter tool to create all these, electric poles, scatter items, and all those. So I assume whenever I load into the world, it runs the construction scripts as you see down here for all of those, and that probably like takes even longer. But it would be kind of a destructive process to like extract all the actors out of those scatter tools, and then I wouldn't be able to like do any manipulation on how they're scattered. All right, so we are back in here. Like I said, what's weird, and I think I'm gonna address it a little bit differently, is we were looking at this, and I can't understand why the collision for this mesh um, is having issues because it looks good when you look at it um, in here. You know, like if you were to look at the collision, where was it? Show simple collision. You know what? It looks right. You know, like up and then flat. But in the world, it does not look that way. And I've seen this happen with other ones. So let me see if I use project default. All right, so let's jump in and try and trick this guy into coming over here and see how that would work. And like I said, we'll probably also change the way that distractor collision is so it doesn't roll away. Like right now, um, it has the potential of rolling down the stairs. And while that would be realistic, uh, you know, maybe we don't want that. All right, so let me turn on the audio for the world. And let's see, this guy he is patrolling. There he is. Okay, so what I want to do is first let's test you know, being able to hide. All right, so there we go. That the your character mesh and whatever attachments you have are hidden, and you can like, you know, exit out of here. I still didn't fix the message because you know it should like disappear and or not disappear but say hide instead of exit. So still working on that. But let's try and get this guy's attention and throw this. Let's throw it here. So you can hear that he says, I'm checking. There's like a little bit of a, there he goes. So now like, oh yeah, so I guess it was a little bit too close. I think I have the peripheral vision for this guy is kind of big, so that's why. But let's try this again and maybe throw it a little bit further um, down the hallway. I mean, further towards the other end. All right, so let's go into full screen. So I'm gonna try and throw it more towards that end. So when he comes up the stairs, you know, I'm gonna be he's gonna his back is gonna be turned towards me. So let's whoops, let's do it to about there. All right, so I heard the guy, he's coming. I still don't really know why. Um, oh, and that's okay. So he said he says he can't get there, but he was able to. Oh, so yeah, so see, this is one of the issues sometimes with the navigation that I might need to increase because he says he can't get there, and that usually is because that location is not really he can't get to it. So let's first I wanted to look at this distractor item, this projectile, and try and change the mesh. Right now it's like a grenade type of mesh. So if we look at the collision for this, let's see, show simple collision. You can see like this is a pretty spherical, like it's gonna roll away kind of object. And I don't really want that. So let's see if we can find something else that the player can throw and not be this type of a maybe like a more of a squarish type of thing. Maybe like cigarettes. That could be one, which it's pretty rectangular. It's just gonna bounce a couple of times maybe off the wall. So hopefully it won't it won't be that bad for collision. So this is the item that I'm talking about. It's right here. Let's see if I can't remember if this one had collision. Oh, it does. And since we're here, we might as well just make it. Um, I'm, let's leave it like this for now. And we'll see how this bounces, or like, and if the enemy can get to it. I'm not sure why it's like. Sometimes when I stream, the video card just can't handle it. All right, so there's the guy down there. Okay, he can see me. Let's see if we can get him to walk over here. I think he saw me for a little bit. But again, he can't get to that position. Why is that? Let's do a quick test to try and see if really he can't reach up here. I'm starting to think that using that default collision for the stairs might have just broken his navigation or his navigation abilities. So let's see. So I'm gonna try and like throw this one right here. All right, so it looks like he should be able to get here. Oh, but he gets stuck. Huh. I don't think why, I don't get it why he is getting stuck in this. Let me try and kind of lower it down a little bit. I'm gonna try going into and viewing collisions again. Bear with me. Hopefully it's not gonna crash the engine again. Not sure why it did last time. Yeah, so see, this is what's causing issues. I am not entirely sure why that is there. When this collision is like this, let me try and remove this. Okay, so that changes that part. But I'm still gonna have to bring it a little bit closer like that. Let's see if that one made the collision a little bit better. Or, yeah, so see, this is sometimes the problem with, you gotta have these collisions set up. And I think he should be able to go up that. I don't think that's too high up. And then navigate over here. All right, let's try this one more time. I'm gonna move this off a little bit. So that way there, depending how tight the navigation is set up, he will be able um, to get between like on a narrow area. Like over here, I think he might not be. That might be a little too narrow. But let's test this out. Main thing is, with the steps, being able to get up those steps. He was able to, but it's still like the navigation had the message, or like not the navigation, but behavior tree had the issue of you can't navigate there. So let's try this one more time. So I'm gonna try and throw it. Actually, first, let's see if I can check out his current navigation and details, like the AI details. So okay, so he's walking back here. Let's try and throw this and see if he's gonna be able to get to this point. Oh, I think it rolled down. Huh. Let's try and throw it against the wall, like right there. There you go. So he's got the navigation. We'll see. And he went all the way to that point. Oh, and he saw me. Oh man. All right. Well, that settles it. At least with that guy. Uh, but um, but at least he was able to come up the stairs. And like I said, I think I might need to find a way. Hey, what are you doing? Some calisthenics? Um, to find a way so when they get to the location that they're trying to inspect, uh, they wouldn't be as attentive, right? Like I would use that term loosely, but so they wouldn't have the same vision potential properties as they would in their normal state. So yeah, I think that was a couple of the things that I was able um, to sort and fix since yesterday, and something that we were looking at. Also using this, I think this fits a lot better, like a kind of a pack of cigarettes, and it doesn't roll away like a uh, spherical, kind of a spheric object like that would. All right. Well, so I was thinking maybe for the rest of the stream, we'll work a little bit on an area around the factory and get that finished. I was kind of placing some things around there, just uh, you know, to to work with them, but it will need a little bit more refinement. So mainly what I'm talking about is uh, I might have shown this in a previous stream where we were building out this like underground tunnel. And so what I was planning to do is to continue the kind of the railroad. The railroad would like go inside here. There's going to be some cleanup needed with some of these pipes, but it would go inside here and into like this kind of loading bay, loading area. And I think that could be a good use of the rest of the stream today. And let's see how far we can get with it. All right. Well, first, I think this one's got the right level here, but I've kind of broken it a little bit when it comes to under this tunnel. So let's try and fix that real quick. Um, and also once I've updated one of the shaders, this is kind of reversed. So I'm gonna need to fix the kind of the damage to be on the corners. All right, so let's go into the spline editor here and try and adjust these points. Yeah, the way this was set up previously, it um, it was ending right where um, this first railroad cart is. So I just wanted to kind of bring it down and set it up the way it was before that. All right to about there. That might be okay. Let's see. All right, let's do some sculpting here with the spline. All right, so that's better. These could be like just smoothed out, smoothing out the terrain, but I think inside the tunnel, this looks good. Once you come out, it's still okay. And so there we go. All right, the other thing is these control points. I want to set the same mesh vertical offset. This mesh in particular has like a different pivot point. So let's start at 0 and then try and bump it up a little bit. I think I had it set to 30 or 25. Let's see what works. I think 25 might just do it. Maybe even lower. 20, 15, 20. I think 20 is fine. There we go. There's some areas where it seems to be sunken in a little too much, but that's not that bad. All right, so we do the same for this other spline here. Set this to 20. Let's try 22. Okay, 22 seems to work a little bit better. That's not that bad. Okay, so we got these two train tracks just going into this kind of loading bay thing there. Let's adjust these points a little bit just for like rotation and positioning. So there. And we got this one last point here. We'll try and use the same values for the x. I think that was 2910 as this other point here. No, 2690. 2690. Let's try that. All right, that's better. So hopefully it'll line up with this guy over here. Let's set this to 90. There we go. So now it's like a straight line. That's what I was trying to get here. Just this being in a straight line. Let's see if this point that I have here is also at 90. Let's set it to 90. All right, there we go. And we can probably just push this further back now. There. Okay. Maybe it doesn't need to go all the way out of there. To about that point should be fine. Okay. And we'll do the same thing for this other track here. So in the case of this one, let's see if we can grab this. I hated that they don't overlap the other geometry, so it is kind of just stuck in like behind things, which makes it kind of hard to um, hard to select. So let's try and get this one to where this is at. And the same thing for this. All right, so this is that industrial environment. And we'll just place another point, and we'll have to adjust this to match what this one has. So this one is at 133. Let's call it 135 just to make some round numbers here. So 135. Let's try and do the same thing here. One 35. And let's select both of these. I think you can do that. And move them this way a little bit. There we go, just to kind of center it with that entrance. The best we can. I think this one is placed a little bit better. We just need to move these tracks, these train wagons, train wagons. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. All right, let's see how the rest of it looks. We'll need to clear out some of these things along the route. Let's see, how do we want to do that? We'll try and get this one like this. Hopefully it's not too big of a bend in the track that would not make it realistic. I think that's fine. Okay, and it seems to be pretty straight down the length of it. Okay, yeah, I think that works. So let's clean up this section of things. Oh, and first, let's actually paint or sculpt the terrain so it covers up this corner of this concrete or asphalt surface. So let's sculpt this. Just gonna go with flatten into this target. I'll just make it like this. There we go. And we'll kind of do it alongside the fence as well. Let's see if that one, it's kind of just sinking the fence in a little bit, but that's fine. I can always lift that up. But first, yeah, let me just get this one to work out okay. A bunch of these things I'm probably just going to remove because I don't really need them. So this area could be cleaned out. That would remove a lot of the draw calls as well. So win-win. So let's bring this up as well as down here. Oh, that was a little too much. My bad. I might just place another one of those like concrete blocks just as an elevated thing. And the splines should also sculpt this area as well. So if we go back in here and we select to sculpt with the splines, there we go. So it actually, brought that down quite a bit. Especially like when you go inside here, I wanted it to be like below this, right above this concrete and the terrain right below it. All right. So yeah, let's fix this area around the fence. We might need to just lower it down slightly, or maybe just raise the fence. So I'll sculpt this up. Like I said, so this is the area for kind of the main base for the bad guys. So I wanted to for it to feel like it's dangerous type of look, you know. It's all like fenced in and so that looks good on that side. Okay, so I think what I want to do is I want to flatten it to whatever height is around here. So that was just not that much lower anyways. There we go. All right, that's definitely a lot better. So let's go into this factory level here and edit some of this to remove some of the, you know, some of this fencing around here. We'll probably just move it off to the side a little bit. So, things like this, these items here. So what I'll do is I'll just move this to the other side of the tracks. Oops, I missed one of them. Just to clear out a little bit more room for where the track is. I wish this one, I might need to slightly scooch the track over a little bit on that side. Shouldn't be by too much. Because it's only here that, like down the straight is fine, but it's like, and this section here where these pipes are at. Um, oh, and actually this is its own, huh, that actually unwillingly, I've willingly slash unwillingly, I've broken up the um, this chemical plant, this factory level into, if I was to go in and edit it, into multiple sub-levels. So this particular one is just these pipes. So I can like manipulate this to just adjust, to adjust its position a little bit better. So just gonna move it a little bit to follow the tracks and space it out a little bit better. And there you go. I think that's better. And we might need to remove this support here. But yeah, that's much better position. So let's go back into it and edit it. Yeah, save them because I'm gonna edit the same one. I'm not sure why it was asking me for that, but let's clear out a couple of these things. Usually it's kind of taxing if you, from what I've noticed, if you if you edit a level within a level. But yeah, it's good to have the control over this stuff in this way. so remove those, for example, and then I want to remove these pillars. Yeah, you can see like how much the frame rate dropped by, like 3 times when I'm inside of this and trying to edit this level. Move some of this stuff. And since those were kind of paired together, um, I might keep this part here. So let's see. So I think the train would be, physically fine to pass this way out of the train yard area. Let's edit. This is another thing that kind of bothers me. So you got a main level here, not a main level, but like a parent level, and inside of it you got multiple of these, um, sub levels. So after you edit one of these sub levels, or in this case, they have this kind of weird thing where they don't really differentiate between um, a pack level actor and a level. Um, so it's weird to me at least. But yeah, when you go in and edit this one and you save it, you actually exit out of the parent level as well. So you're like in the main world. And I was hoping to just go back one level basically. So let's clear this out here for a little bit. All right, so we got that. And let's see how we can better position this one. And then what I wanted to remove is probably like this section, this one, all these ones. Oh yeah, I forgot that this is when I was experimenting with some of the pack level actors, and I was actually trying to understand optimize these things a little bit better, and they all got packed into like everything in this level that is a cone got packed into one, and yeah, you can see like all of them being select. I'm not sure if that's a better way to do it, but like you can see all of these being selected, so they're all like just these traffic cones. And I don't want to delete all of them. I just want to delete these one in this area. So I'm gonna do that offline, where I just kind of work on selecting those. All right, so let's get these ones to hopefully join into these pipes as they were before. Yeah, this is also the advantage of having these in separate levels. They're a little bit easier to maneuver. Okay, so that works. You're not going to be able to get to that point, but you never know. I mean, there is some climbing involved in the game, so you could potentially, like, I'm not sure, like climb from. Nah, for these ones, I don't think you can get on top of those. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to. Okay, so let's clean up some of this stuff over here. I'm gonna go ahead and save that level instance and then edit these a little bit. And these ones, they kind of end, and I think I might want to do them similar to this. So let's try that out. So in here, go in and edit, and remove some of those that don't really make sense. I think I might leave those. And let's try something out where I would edit this level and try and get these down pipes. So let's try and copy. We'll see if I can paste them into this other one. So into this one. So let's see if I do an edit, paste here. Okay, there we go. So I was thinking just having these pipes kind of across um, the rail. And just connecting into, so we can connect some of these ones that are just left hanging out here like this, and probably at the end. Where they go, you know, nobody knows. I've played so many games where I went into like looking at, weirdly, just looking at piping. And I'm just trying to make sense in some of them, and I think Hitman is a good example. It seems like they're functional, you know, they're like, you know, I can see that pipe going there and then it goes here and then it's like kind of for this. But a lot of the games, they're like, especially when it's factory type of environments like this, you can't really tell, you know, what does that pipe do? Um, so let's see how we can place these in a, um, you know, that could work type of fashion. So those seem to be lining up there. And let's try and position this one over here. And I'm gonna need a shorter version of this pipe. Maybe even this one. There we go. It's almost in place. Come on. There we go. It's better. And then this one, we can try and position this one right on the end of that. There we go. And then some of these ones over here. Let's try and rotate them in some kind of a fashion. These were the original developer. This is a package from the marketplace. They kind of crammed them in. So I just need to do my little OCD thing and try and get them to line up. Best as we can. Kind of like that. And can we... Okay, there we go. Trying to make this so that we can probably put another one of these connector pipes in there. Oh, where did you go? There it is. It's right. It doesn't like overlap with the fence, so that's pretty good. And then this one here, maybe since we got all these pipes bunched up in there, see if we can use this somewhere else, like over on this side. All right, that's pretty good there. Add a little bit of variety in this. There we go, that's better. So we got these ends almost closed off. This one in here, what do we want to do with this one? I'm just gonna delete it for now. You won't be able to see that pipe, and it could be just like a kind of a new construction type of thing. But at least we got this one, this end closed off as well. Let me delete this. All right, so there's a bunch of pipes. And I'll remove that as well. What I'll do is I'll use this one. Let's see how this is going to work. I am not entirely sure about this, but we'll try it. Can we get these to connect? Yeah, why not? I think it might work. Somewhat. I don't know about that. I was hoping that I could cover it with this, with that ventil. I think it's called a ventil. I'm not entirely sure. I wish there was one that was like a little bit thinner. Let me see if let's try this one. It's a little bit longer pipe, but it's the same scale, so it doesn't really help us. But what if I make this one a little bit bigger? Yeah, that doesn't work. Okay, well, so off it goes. What I might do is, let's see how far this goes. Hmm. I was thinking another option. Trying to not go about getting too crazy with these and starting editing the meshes to make them to change them to my own. But let's see if we can do something like this maybe. I mean, I could see that. And it looks a little odd here with this connection. Unfortunately, there is no angle connection in this package. So yeah, I think, off with its head. There you go. We'll just remove this one as well. So we'll just leave it like that. Okay, that should be good. That is definitely much better. Oh, actually, what I should be doing here, I didn't think of it, but we'll just do what we've done here as well. We'll just cap this end with one of these. See, I hope I got the right scale here. I'm going to first try and position it right on top of that. It might just go through this opening, so that might work. All right, let's do that. Yeah, that should do it. That way there's no real, like, horribly visible uh, issues. And it goes down there. Whatever flows through these, wherever they come from and they're going, hey, it's a game. But yeah, it'd be the basics of it. It would be like this chemical treatment plant, and it's got like the water flow from here, so there'll be some sets of pipes going into the lake here, just to kind of give it, have it have some sense, so to speak. But I think uh, this one should be good. This section here, I think we can go about and save it. All right, and then this one, I think this one was looking a little bit better. There's a couple of ends here that are not in place, but that should be pretty straightforward. Um, yeah, let's see what we can clean up with this level here, this part of it. Let's go about and select this one to edit it. So this is kind of a sunken area here. Um, actually wondering these stairs could be more useful in that damn basement than what I had. But yeah, let's see, what do we want to do out here? Do we want to keep this or not? I think first I'm going to remove these and just like remove all this stuff. They don't really serve any purposes at the moment. I mean, they could have been the ones that are like pulling the water out of there. You know, I'm just trying to think of, this, if this would be like a pump, uh, pulling the water out of the lake. And I mean, that could work, then running them through a separate set of tanks, pushing them into the factory like via these pipes. Okay, I can see that. Let's try it out. Yeah, so let's remove these corner pieces here, and we'll keep these supports and try and run this stuff towards the lake. All right, so from there, it goes straight to that. Is that going to the lake? It sort of is. I was trying to keep things at like 90 degrees as best as I can, but we can always have like a bend in this. So it comes to this point here. The only thing is I only have 90-degree bends. So what we could do, since we have these here, is this could be like a separate expansion tank. I'm not sure, whatever these might be called. But it could have, um, let's see. It could have multiple, like this would be like the outflow to the plant. And then it could have a couple of them, coming out of the top that would be the ones pumping the water. So let's see how that could work. So that will be one there. And then we can use this stuff. Actually, let's start selecting it from here. Just go down this way. Let's call it 130. 135 because that's 90 plus 45. So let's see from here. We have one of them going that way. We're still on a grid, so hopefully these would Okay, there we go. Just to have that kind of industrial feel around this area as well, having some pipes running through the forest to the lake. All right, so that's about, at least for now, to where I want that to go. Let's duplicate these. And place another one over here, which sometimes this weird thing where the selection bounces back to the first one you selected happens when you duplicate items. That's something weird that I've noticed. All right, so let's add this pipe as well. Let's try to eyeball it, same level almost. All right, so I'm going to use some of these pillars. As supports. So yeah, 45 degrees. Let's try and make them staggered. That could be somewhat interesting. There we go. So let's do another set of these. All right, to about there. That should be fine. We'll also work on some of the terrain area around it. And then I'll also probably connect this one in the same fashion. So try to connect this this tank to this one here. But let's place some pipes kind of going into the river there. And let's see, can we use one of these guys? It looks like a pump type of thing. Let's see if we can place that over here on like a platform or something. You know, it's got two nozzles coming from the top, so it could fit with with these guys. Try and make this one a little bit bigger. It's got this thing that allegedly would pump water. So there we go. Let's actually maybe extend this out a little more. Oh, the only thing that might get me into trouble, and I might need to rotate this a little bit, is these guys are not, let's see, we'll try it. Hey, they might, it might actually fit. Was a little bit, was a little bit iffy when I looked at this, but it might just work. Okay. And then these guys, let's see if we can get them to first line up. Then we'll play with the scaling a little bit. Hey, this might just work. And this kind of, I get a little bit of a bite here because one of them is a little bit higher than the other. And I thought, oh, it'd be cool to have it that way, but maybe just causing me some headache. So this one almost works. This one here is a little bit trickier. Hey, that's getting closer. It's really trying to line these up best as I can. Okay, that could work, I think. Okay, well we'll have to kind of fake this a little bit. Okay, that could do it. Yeah, that's all right. And then I'll find a platform to kind of put this in if somebody decides to go in the water and investigate what's that about. All right. So with that in place, I'll do the same thing. Like I said, let's do the other connection to this one since we're here. So we'll do the same kind of use these pipes. Let's see if we can connect it to this guy over here. You know what? That would do it. It's almost on top of this guy. Just needs a little bit more. There it is. Okay, that could work. Yeah. And there's that. Okay, so these have some kind of connectivity to something that would show some functionality to things, right? That's kind of the idea here. So let's save this and sculpt the terrain around this a little bit. So I'm going to flatten this, but flatten it to maybe to this point here. And we'll simulate some of um, the vegetation as well. Around here. So let's paint some of the dirt so we don't have, um, actually we'll do the dirt first so we can remove the rocks, and we'll play around with some grasses around this, the where these pipes are going through. All right, so there's that. Let's finish. Oh, no, I didn't want to, I wanted to flatten this. That tank is kind of sunken in a little bit. Doesn't make it look so good. I might need to revisit that and see if there's any other alternative to that tank. All right, so let's do some smoothing out of this slope. And actually this one could use some kind of cliff type of things going on there. Like just on the side of that. And this one in particular, since I use it throughout my entire level, I think it's going to fit pretty well the slope look here. See how this one would look if we place it at a different angle. Okay, that could work for that corner. All right, let's do some more terrain sculpting and some painting. So let's do some mulch around this area along the fence. And back out here, around here as well. Let's see what happens when we simulate this. How much of it is going to get filled in with some of these trees. Oh, and I actually forgot that I need to lower these down a little bit because they do cause a collision with the weapon. And I might have talked to you guys about this. So I do like you pull the weapon back when you're about to hit a wall, and at least in the editor with these procedural foliage volumes, it the system thinks that it overlaps something, which these don't generate overlaps, so that's why it's odd. All right, so let's see. Just gonna start. I'm just gonna do like the small area for trees, then we'll do the logs and the rocks. And we'll finish off this area along the pipes. And I think that could be a good end point for today. I will offline. I'll probably fill in this area with these big boulders. Usually goes a little bit quicker than this, but not sure if also streaming impacts any of that. But because this part is not tied to the graphics card, but can't remember which one of these is usually the one that takes the longest between like the trees and the rocks and the logs, but there we go. All right, so this thing got cleared. Let's do the rocks, kind of just forest rocks. And for this one, I didn't get the message pop up here with simulating, please wait. Well, I guess it was a lot quicker. So there it went. And then the logs. And there that went. All right, so the forest itself, kind of ground floor looks like this. Around here looks decent. think I might need to decrease the density of these boulders. They're kind of a lot, but yeah, it cleared out this area nicely around the pipes. And I think what we could add to it, let's see if we can paint some grass around here. You know, I would expect some grass to grow in between these. You know, if things get cut down and so whatnot. I'm gonna resimulate um, the rocks just because I painted some of the grass around it. So let's resimulate this one. And hopefully we'll remove, somehow all of these got concentrated on this line. I mean, it makes it even more noticeable. You can do it. There you go. Oh, that's better. That's a little bit more proper kind of rock distribution around here. It seemed like a little bit more jarring because it was like um, right next to this kind of straight line type of landmark, and that's why it. But now with the grasses around here, I think I could potentially make this a little bit kind of try and thin this out a little bit. So let's paint some dirt, but with a kind of a noise grunge type of map. Why is it taking so long to pick these up? Oh, I don't think it. After I did a bunch of cleanup, these were never re-indexed, I think. And plus, it sometimes goes into like, yeah, so it's doing this preparing textures. But I believe it's actually this one here. So this is what I want. And I just wanted to paint like some spots here and there with dirt. So let's see, there's red, there's green, and there's blue. Do I want like the spots or, yeah, there we go. Something like that. Just to remove some of the grass here and there. You know, so there's like, you know, some patches of like this. So the grass is not growing in on those patches. It's not that dense. All right, there we go. Oh, it really broken up some of the streaming stuff while looking for those textures. And these ones along the fence line uh, got placed pretty well. I think I might have scoped this down a little bit too much. I could have bumped it up a little bit because now you can see the this asphalt surface. But yeah, there's something going on with my video card right now, where it's like streaming in textures, or what is it? Or what is it still doing? Yeah, but with the 1070, since it's like it's a low-end video card, you know, it would probably have some memory. Uh, things sometimes. But yeah, there we go. So I think the pipes are um, coming into place pretty good here. It started doing this right as I went into like, and it started like checking out those all those textures when I was trying to use one from the drop down. So that's kind of odd. And also I'm gonna do a little bit of grass painting alongside this fence just to have some grass growing around it and not just be completely barren like this. So paint some of this around here. And I'm trying to use this brush so that it's not just, completely, 100% density. You can see there's still like some spots where there's no grass. Try and paint a little bit around here, like kind of just going into the forest, creating maybe some clearings or something the next time I simulate these. And man, I think I'm gonna need to restart the engine anyways. It really did a number on the textures for whatever reason. There we go. You see you still have some bold spots here and there where there's no grass. Okay, so next, yeah, it really messed up a bunch of these. Like I said, I think it usually throws a message. That's one of the things that I haven't seen it throw in a while with you ran out or you're running low on texture memory. And so I haven't seen this happen. Um, like I've seen it happen where it's trying to like stream in textures and they go like this, but um, it takes a couple of seconds. I'm not entirely sure why it's still doing it. Okay, yeah. So let's one thing that I wanted to do before I end is um, adjust the height the fog because it is a little bit weird why it's there we go. That might be a little bit better like this. Okay. It was really strong. You couldn't even see like past the lake. Okay. So guys, that's gonna be it for me today. And I was happy to again to figure out some of the issues with that distractor item and test those out. I'll keep working on this to do some refinement, especially when it comes to the navigation map for the enemy and how precise that is, because it is a little bit, um, especially around some of these tighter spots where they might not, the enemy might not be able to reach, and we want the enemy to be able to do that. So guys, thank you again so much for stopping by, taking time out of your Sunday, and I will see you next week. Hopefully with a little bit more updates and some more things to show. So thanks again. Have a great rest of your Sunday and a great week. All right, take care, everybody.